Hello, welcome back to another episode of Math with Haas. You're watching Precalculus Season 2, Episode 4. We are continuing our discussion of trigonometry. Now, in the last video, we derived the equation for a circle, and now what we need to do is take a step back and talk about angles. So, when we imagine an angle, we have something like this, right? We got two lines and we got this angle in the middle. So let's go ahead and note angle. What we want to do is start with some terminology. So we can call this, say, the initial side. We want to think of right here as the side where our angle begins, and then it moves up from there. So we're starting with this line and we're moving up, and so then this side we think of as the terminal side. Okay, and the measurement of an angle is going to be how much of a rotation is there from the initial side to the terminal side. So again, just when we talk about measuring angles, it is that amount of rotation from where you start to where you end. So let's go ahead and note that. Start, end. Alright. And then how these measurements of angles is, our unit is called degrees. So when we think about our circle here, a circle has 360 degrees. 360 degrees. And the unit for degrees here is denoted with a little circle up top. So whenever you see that little circle, that means degrees. So circles, again, 360 degrees. That's going for all the way around. So one rotation all the way around in a circle will be 360 degrees. And this little circle here again is the unit, how we represent the unit. So like you would have like an M for meters, we have this little circle for degrees. Alright, now what we want to do is clarify our circle a little bit with angles. So if we imagine our x and y axis here, we know this is the positive x axis here. Oops, we don't want that T. And how we want to think about our angles is they're going to be moving up in this direction, and that's going to be our counterclockwise direction. So this direction here is counterclockwise. This is our terminal side. So we're going to want to think about our angles as starting from the positive x-axis and moving counterclockwise. Okay, start at positive x-axis and move. Maybe, yeah, we'll just undo that. And move counterclockwise. All right. So again, we are starting at the positive x-axis and we're moving counterclockwise, and we can go around a circle one time, go around it over and over. In fact, this leads us to a new idea called coterminal angles. Okay, so let's note coterminal angles over here. So if I go around a circle, say 0 times, I'm going to be, or 0 degrees, I am right here. But if I go 360 degrees around the circle, notice 360 degrees is going to bring me right back here. So that means it's the same point. So what we would say is, probably not use an equal sign, but we would say 0 degrees and 360 degrees are coterminal. So our basic understanding is simply what we mean by coterminal is if you go around a circle one whole rotation and you end up back at the place you started, those angles are coterminal. So another example is, let's go ahead and scoot down. We'll draw another circle and axis here. If we happen to choose to start, say, at 90 degrees, right? And if we wanted to imagine, well, what would happen if we went all the way around here? Well, if we were to imagine 90 degrees plus 360 degrees, that gives us 0, 5, 1, 4, 450 degrees. So we could say 90 degrees and 450 degrees are coterminal. Because if I was to go 90 degrees, I'll end up right here. And if I was to go 450 degrees, notice I have 90, 80, 270, 360, 450. You might be wondering, where did I get those angle values? And we'll talk about that for a moment. So if I go all the way around a circle, we know that's 360 degrees. So this is like 0 degrees, 360 degrees. Now if I go a quarter away around to right here up top, well, 360 degrees divided by 4 is 90 degrees. So that's up here. If I think 360 degrees divided by 2, that's half a circle, and that's going to be 180 degrees. Similarly, if I go 3/4 around a circle, well, 3/4 around a circle is 270 degrees. So that's where these values are coming from. So let's see, let's review what we have. We want to think of circles. Normally we're starting from the positive x-axis and we're moving counterclockwise. This is in fact called standard position. Okay. So what we mean by standard position is at the initial side. So scrolling up here, the initial side is the positive x-axis and we are moving counterclockwise. And if the terminal side ends at 0 or at 360 degrees, so right back here, then we say 0 degrees and 360, those are coterminal because they are essentially, they bring you back to the same xy coordinate. You know, you go all the way around a circle, right? And in fact, we can elaborate on this. If I go around a circle, say 2 times, so 1, 2, well, that's 720 degrees. So this is also going to be coterminal 720 degrees, and we can in fact go around another 360 times, so 1080 is coterminal. And in fact, there's an infinite number of coterminal angles, because I can just keep going round, right? 0, 360, 720, 1080, add another 360, add another 360, keep adding 360 for however many times you go around a circle. So you can have an infinite, well, you do have an infinite number of coterminal angles. And we talked about 4 different angles based on how far along the circle do you go. Though this is a very sad looking circle here. Not sure what that actually is. Alright. So that's kind of a basic reintroduction of angles, which is we've introduced the notion of coterminal, and we talked about our unit of in terms of degrees for measuring angles. And with that, we're going to continue with a new video to build off of this idea. I wanted this video to focus strictly on what are the basics of an angle, and that probably was repetitive for a lot of you, but it's going to be important for the next video when we talk about a new way of thinking about angles. Alright, if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe, consider supporting us on Patreon. Thank you for joining our math party, and I will see you next time.